This video is powered by Dr. Cinik, one of the world's leading hair transplant centres and a top choice among football superstars. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link below for your free consultation.
Welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. First of all, before I get stuck into the transfers, got to say congratulations going out to Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli, both of them scoring on international duty, and Kai Havertz. How can I forget Kai Havertz as well? Three Arsenal players there on the score sheets for their countries. Of course, we are getting close to those big tournaments that are going to be happening this summer. Of course, in Europe, it's the Euros that begin on Friday, this week, Friday, the 14th of June. And then the following week, on the 21st of June, the Copa America kicks off, which will involve, of course, Martinelli's going to be playing in that, Gabriel Magalhaes playing for Brazil. That kicks off the week after. Both tournaments going on at the same time. Normally, the Copa America is normally like a sort of January tournament, but that's in the summer now. They're playing it over in America. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how those tournaments pan out. Will we be seeing any stars emerging from it that maybe, you know, then bought by Arsenal or considered by Arsenal? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. And of course, it's 5 days till the transfer window opens this week, Friday. That is when it gets started. It's been slow so far, but is there going to be any deals done before it opens, or will it be done during these tournaments? Tricky time for clubs at the moment, because literally you got the tournaments, then you got a couple of weeks, and then we go into pre-season for the new season. As a matter of fact, next week, Tuesday, the Premier League fixture list is going to come out, and we'll get to find out who Arsenal are going to be playing when. So a lot to come, but who's coming in? The favourite to come in at Arsenal is still Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal said to be the favourites, clear favourites, it's being said, to sign him. He's got this £55 million release clause. We know that Chelsea are really, really interested in signing him as well. But Arsenal said to be the favourites to sign the Slovenian international, who we will see at the Euros. We're looking forward to seeing him. Could this deal be done this week, or will it be one of those that are done during the Euros? Or remember, listen, I say obviously that the Euros are going to last about a month. Let's be real. Slovenia are not going to get to the final. I don't think anyway, right? So they'll probably be the sort of team that will go out in the group stages, and then maybe Arsenal get the deal done then, if that is the player that they're trying to get. But he's still very heavily linked today. This one's interesting. Joshua Zirkzee. Now, I've spoken about him, last week when I first started doing Transfer Daily. Young Player of the Year over there in Italian football. Real breakout season for him at Bologna last year. Bologna had a great season, and he scored a lot of goals and has been, interest in Arsenal even before this January transfer window. There was a lot of talk about Arsenal possibly making a move for him. He's got this £34 million release clause. A Bayern Munich player. He's got that previously a Bayern Munich player, got this £34 million release clause. And last week it seemed like 100% nailed on that he's definitely going to AC Milan. There was talk that they've agreed terms, done deal. Zirkzee definitely going to AC Milan. Still probably could go to AC Milan, but there are a lot of reports today, including one that's come from Sky Sports, that Arsenal are willing or putting a plot together, as they say, to try and hijack this deal for Joshua Zirkzee, saying to him, listen, don't go to AC Milan, come to Arsenal instead. And if £34 million, that's a bargain. If Arsenal could get that done. Still a young player, still up and coming, still very, very good. Going to be interesting. I still feel he'll go AC Milan, but let's see. Another striker that I spoke about last week is Semih Kiliscoy of Besiktas. Again, a young player, only 18, and again, really made his mark last season. 12 goals and 3 assists last season for Besiktas in the Turkish league. He's made his way to the Turkish squad for the Euros. So again, big achievement for an 18-year-old. And the Turkish outlet, Aksam, they claim that Arsenal are going to meet with Besiktas's representatives over a potential transfer. That's what they're claiming. I have to say, not always the most reliable sometimes over there in Turkey. Sometimes some of these media outlets tend to really push the player to try and get the deal done. But that is what is being said. Besiktas want around about £21 million for him. Not the end of the world for a club like Arsenal. Again, young player, prospect, only 18. But is this something that's going to interest Arsenal? Would this be maybe a player they buy that to potentially then, assimilate into the team at some stage? But he's being linked with a move to Arsenal today. Of course, we're talking about all these players coming in. We've been speaking about loads all over the course of the past week. But what about players that are going to be leaving? Now, Aaron Ramsdale, who's currently with England, and he's going to be going to the Euros as well, but barely featured for Arsenal last season, is looking like he's going to be leaving. I mean, too good to be a number 2. You know what I mean? He's even in the England squad, even though he's barely played any games this season. Now, lots of clubs said to be fairly interested in him. The Sun are claiming that Arsenal are willing to sell him, but only for £40 million. That's a lot of money that Arsenal are asking for him, particularly when you consider they paid about £25 million for him, trying to make a big profit on him. £40 million. He's on about £120,000 a week. Newcastle were said to be favourites to sign Aaron Ramsdale, about a week ago. But now it looks like they've turned their attentions to James Trafford, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. Sorry, the Burnley goalkeeper. And that deal looks like that could get done, which means it'd be very unlikely. They've still got Nick Pope, even though he's been very injury prone, for them to go for Aaron Ramsdale. So £40 million, I'm trying to think about other clubs that would want to buy Aaron Ramsdale, and at that price right now, that seems to suggest that Arsenal are, they're in no hurry to sell him. Not when they're putting such a high price on Aaron Ramsdale. They can't be in any hurry to sell him. So that is going to be an interesting one this summer as to what they are looking to do with Aaron Ramsdale, because I'm sure he doesn't want to be playing a number 2 goalkeeper at Arsenal. But at £40 million, I'm just trying to think of suitors for him right now. So interesting, very interesting. Another player that's surplus to requirements at Arsenal and Arsenal have named their asking price for is Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney spent the whole of last season out on loan at Rio Sociedad. Yet again, injury-affected season. He's with Scotland at the Euros. Still an international player, still a top player. Now, Arsenal definitely want to move him on. He's way down the pecking order when it comes to that left-back position, especially with Timber coming back. You've got Zinchenko, and on top of that, you've got lots of rumours that Arsenal are looking for another left-back. Where does that leave Kieran Tierney? It leaves him nowhere. That's quite frankly the answer. Now, Arsenal said to want £10 million for Kieran Tierney, willing to sell him for £10 million. There have been all these rumours around the fact that Celtic would like to bring him back home. Let's see how that one pans out. Another player that could be on the way out is Fabio Viera. Now, Fabio Viera, still a young player, 24. It just hasn't happened for him so far at Arsenal. We've signed him in 2022, so now, a couple of seasons now, and it just has not worked out. A lot of money we paid for him as well, £30 million from Porto, a real stop-start career. There's even been rumours, and I don't know if this is true, but there's been rumours that Mikel Arteta hasn't been too, impressed with him in training. And could Arsenal move him on, or is this make or break season for him in the first team setup? Remember, Arsenal are going to need a strong squad this season because of the amount of football they're going to have. You know what I mean? The upcoming season, the Champions League with a longer format, etc. Pressure on Mikel Arteta to do better in the domestic trophies as well. Now, there's these rumours coming out of Portugal, according to Ebola, the Portuguese outlet, that Porto would love to bring him back to Portugal. And Arsenal have named the asking price for him apparently as well, and that is £25.5 million, which would be a bit of a drop. But, you know, I mean, he has been there for 2 seasons, but they would not be listening to anything less than around about 25 to £25.5 million. Could possibly maybe send him out on loan as well, but certainly he's a quality player. He needs game time, but he's just not at the moment still looking like he's going to get that game time at Arsenal. So I think of all the players this transfer window, I'm going to be watching that one with a lot of interest. What happens with Fabio Viera? Because as I said, it was quite a big outlay, £30 million. A player where you see lots and lots of potential, but he's just not fulfilled it. Yes, he had injuries last season, but it's a really important time coming up for him. And what about this player, Mika Biereth? Now, Mika Biereth's an Arsenal player. He's not actually played for the first team yet. I remember when we bought him in from Fulham. I remember watching him as well. And for the youth team, and been very impressed with him. Striker, scores goals, went on loan last season at Sturm Graz in Austria and had a really successful time. Scored 14 goals, 9 assists in all comps. Really did well. Sturm Graz are said to be really interested in making the deal permanent. He's also wanted by Club Bruges over there in Belgium, big club in Belgium. They're also interested in him. Or do Arsenal keep him? I mean, we keep talking about strikers. He's a young striker who's scoring goals. I mean, we're looking at other strikers. You know, Kiliscoy I mentioned earlier on over there in Turkey. You know, scored less goals than that, 14 goals. You know, I don't know. What do we do? This is the dilemma you face, I guess, when you're doing recruitment. Do you let a player like this go very cheap and then, you know, next week, you know, he's tearing it up across Europe? Or do you look on it and say he's good, but he's just not going to be good enough for what we're looking at? But again, a player that I feel probably going to be moving on this season, valued at around about 7 million. Arsenal might want a bit more for him, but scored 14 goals last season for Sturm Graz, an interesting Club Bruges over there in Belgium. So let's wait and see how that one turns out. So those are the rumours. Don't forget to keep your comments coming in and keep it locked here every day. It's going to start warming up. We're getting close to the opening of the transfer window here on Transfer Daily, and we are here every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.